Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll look at the divorce story of a woman who dated Chad and married him after knowing him for just 6 months at 19 years old. We'll also hear from several women talking about their empowerment after divorce and how in the end, they're just trying to sell us a course on how the grass is always greener on the other side, though she hasn't found it either. Ironic, isn't it? I want you to smash that like button and join the channel by subscribing. Show some love to the movement. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Share your experiences in the comments to help guide other men. Without further ado, let's get started.
I keep seeing that video of, I wish more people would explain why they broke up. I can't find the original video because my internet sucks right now, but I want to give the story of why I got divorced. Hi, my name's Natalie. I am 30 years old now, but I got married when I was 19 and I was married for 3.5 years. I got married after 6 months of knowing someone. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a way longer video. I can't explain it all right now why I got married, because I didn't just like, oh, I got married for love. Like, yeah, I thought like he was the love of my life at the time, but I was 19. Like, what did I expect? I thought I knew everything then. Anyways, I was married to this guy and he was very abusive and very manipulative. And you know, I'm not perfect. Like, I look back now, I'm like, okay, like there's things I could have done a lot better. I could have handled way more maturely. You know, I'm not perfect, but he was very different. Like, when I first met him, he totally love bombed me. And then after like a year, like right after we got married, he completely changed. And he became an alcoholic and an abuser to other substances. And you know, when you're 20, when you're 19, like you have a lot of growing to do in the next few years. And he wasn't growing with me in the way I wanted to grow. And if you know me in real life, you probably would have known that I love being in a committed relationship. I love being a wife. I love providing people. I love caring for people. And I treat people with respect that I'm with and love and whatever, you know, like the normal things, right? Like, but he did not appreciate me. And that was the issue. He manipulated me into staying with him because I tried leaving many times because he became very abusive. He didn't allow me to have a job. He didn't allow me to go to school. He got jealous of my family, made me cut them off at one point. I wasn't allowed to have friends. I wasn't allowed to go out. He became very addicted to alcohol. I actually saw him punch his sister in the face once. I have a video of it, but I'm trying to get, I can't release that. I can't because I'm scared that something could happen. But anyways, yeah, anyways, he would go out and spend all of the money that he made. He made like pretty good money every year. And you know, he wanted to be a provider for me, but he would spend all of the money on alcohol. He would drink before work, after work, and he was very secretive about it. And it got to the point where we didn't have money for like rent and food. And at some points I had to go to beg my parents to buy me food to bring home, my groceries. And I would bring the groceries home and he would get so jealous and so mad. I'm like, dude, you want to be a provider, but you're not being a provider. You're not providing.
Stop it. Get some help.
We often talk about women who idealize marriage. At 19, after knowing him for 6 months, she decides to get married. I can only imagine her parents' faces as they saw her leave with Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. This is a clear example of a woman going for the bad boy, just because of how he makes her feel. Most women idealize what being married is like. They only think about the wedding party and the ring. They don't consider what it means to become a wife and what that entails. I always say that when a story begins with, "My ex was abusive," it often means you were too. It may be true that the guy is a mess, as she describes, but to me, that says she has terrible taste in men. She's not unattractive, so she likely had better options, but she chose that guy. As we all know, women make stupid decisions based solely on emotion, and what happened to her is the result of making decisions like that.
Anyways, he threatened to off my dog if I left him. He threatened to off me. He actually held like a thing to my head at one point and threatened to hurt me. He threatened to hurt my family. And the breaking point for me, though, this is kind of a funny story. I was at a family party of his family's party, and I caught him like trying to sell substances. And I was like, dude, like, this just isn't for me. Like, I'm gonna go. Oh, and at that party, he was trying to force impregnate me. And I'm like, I am 22 years old. Like, I need a break. I had multiple miscarriages with him, which I think is like a sign from God. Like, I shouldn't have been with him. Like, yeah, it was a horrible situation, but thank God he is not my baby daddy. Thank God. I live in a different state now. I haven't seen him. I haven't talked to him at all since his divorce. Like, he tried messaging me. I want nothing to do with this guy. He's remarried, whatever. But anyways, I was at the family party and caught him doing that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go. I get in my car. He's freaking out. I have my dog in the back seat. He comes up to the passenger window. He punches it in, and there's glass just like everywhere. And keep in mind, he bought this car. Like, that was his car. This little Honda Civic. And I'm like, I'm gonna go. His parents come outside from the party. They come up to me and they're like, Natalie, you deserve better. Like, you need to leave our son. Like, and that was the breaking point for me, when his family told me that I deserve better than their son and I need to leave him. So I'm like, you know what, that's my sign, I need to go. So I went home, packed my things. He tried, of course, freaking out, calling me, texting me, trying to get back together with me. I moved into my dad's office. I lived on a twin bed. I had nothing. I had $400 in my bank account. And I'm like, screw it. Like, you know, I just need a fresh start. And he would not sign the divorce papers. I wanted nothing from him. I'm like, just leave me alone. Never talk to me again. I want nothing from you. He would not sign the divorce papers for, I think, 8 months. It's been almost 10 years, so it's kind of hard to remember. But he finally signed them, and he tried going through a bankruptcy during the process of getting our divorce, like a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And I was like, why would you file bankruptcy when we're getting a divorce? Like, why wouldn't you just wait until after? Anyways, he tried taking my car away that was paid off. I'm like, dude, this is like all I have. I have like $400 in my bank account, no job, no school experience. You know, just leave me alone. Leave me, my peaceful life, my dog alone, and my family. And if you know me in real life, I'm so close to my parents. I'm so close to them. My family is my everything. I just, like, why would you threaten my family? Anyways, left him, got a divorce, and you know what? Looking back on it, what has it been, like 8 or 9 years since I got a divorce? I am so thankful that all that happened. And I know that sounds like weird and like, why would you be thankful for being divorced? But I'm thankful all that happened to me. I wouldn't be the person I am today without that experience. I wish it never happened, of course. But I've been through a lot, so I'm actually single now. I don't talk about this with anyone unless, you know, I know them, I like them, I trust them. But yeah, thank you to my ex-husband for leaving me.
You break up with a guy at 22. After a series of bad decisions, and now, almost a decade later, you're still telling the same story. Funny how you only realize you deserved better when his own family tells you. Did you really need your ex's parents to give you the green light to value yourself? Where was that self-worth when you decided to get married after just 6 months? Sure, he was abusive and a mess with his addictions, but what kept you there for so long? It sounds like a classic mix of low self-esteem and emotional dependency, not exactly a situation where you were manipulated as much as you claim. Women give men access to their lives, and men give the ring. But as we always say here, relationships follow the man's direction at the woman's pace. This means it takes two to tango. This guy showed plenty of red flags, and if you left him at 22, that means it took 4 years. Why couldn't you do it sooner? Didn't you see those red flags in the first year? Or did you choose to ignore them? These are the consequences of choosing the bad boy. See why men aren't keen on dating women in their 30s. They bring too much baggage, especially when they come with a disastrous divorce. So, guys, be mindful when dealing with divorced women.
Guys, here's 2 things that you need to understand if you're going through a breakup or a divorce with a narcissistic person. If you guys are new here, my name is Scott. I'm a certified divorce recovery coach, and I'm also an ordained minister. Let's talk about it. 2 things, guys. The first one is this, and it's probably going to be a little painful for some of you guys. A narcissistic person will not leave you or break up with you or divorce you or do any of those things until they have a new supply. They will not divorce you or break up with you unless they already have someone else lined up. And yes, that means they were probably cheating on you before they left. I'm sorry that hurts, but it's the truth. The second thing is this: what if you're the one who leaves them? What if you're the one that files for divorce? What if you're the one that breaks up with them? Well, then they're going to double down on everything that they did to get you in the first place. They're going to go back and start being sweet and romantic. They'll be willing to go to therapy and all these things. They'll go to church with you, whatever it is that you want to do so they can reel you back in. It's called hoovering. Maybe they've actually changed this time. It's going to be different. They seem so much better now. The only reason they're doing that is because they have got to maintain a supply. These people cannot function by themselves. This is where you will also see them jump into another relationship very quickly, because their entire reality is built around other people. And some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and I would love to hear your story. Make sure you leave me a comment, guys. Hope this helps somebody.
Totally agree, but I have one question. Where do these ridiculous titles come from? Honestly, do they make up these careers, or do people actually study for them? Someone leave a comment to clarify. But based on what you said, never forgive a cheating woman. A cheater never stops. They may pause for a few years, but they always go back to it. You know why? Because like any narcissist, they'll wait for you to cool down. They'll put effort into the relationship, make you feel comfortable, and once they have you in their hands again, they'll do it all over. And they'll be even more clever about it, because they love that thrill of doing what's forbidden. Once a woman loses the fear of cheating, my friend, you're not getting her out of that. Plus, you don't want that torment in your mind, wondering where she is at every moment and needing constant communication. It'll mess with your head, creating endless insecurities. It's better to start a new chapter in your story than to keep reading the same book where the hero always dies.
I am a divorced mum of 2, and I've been separated now for 3 years, and I have experienced what it feels like to be in a marriage where you feel alone and you feel undesired, you feel unsupported, and you feel unheard. And being in that situation can be crippling to your self-esteem and confidence. And what I have experienced in my journey is that I discovered that I had an anxious attachment. So my people-pleasing tendencies got me into these situations with mostly avoidant style men. And this is not a video to bash my ex-husband. It is not a video to, bash men at all. This is a video of how you can empower yourself after a divorce. And my top tip for, getting through a divorce when you're a little anxiously attached, maybe you feel really exhausted and you feel really low, your self-worth is just like bottomed out, and you're scared that you're going to be alone forever. Maybe you're very strong, you're very independent, you've got your career sorted, you've got your kids sorted, you can do amazing things, and you're just worried that you're not going to nail that piece and find your person. And I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can, and you absolutely will. And it really requires just to see relationships a little differently. And by differently, I mean dating in a way where you put yourself first and you know what you want. So getting clarity. Okay, do I want to be married again? Do I want to just have a long-term committed plan with someone? Do I want more kids? Getting clear on that. And then after that, really diving into how you date, because what will happen is the previous people you were with and your patterns of dating in the past will reoccur. So if you look at what those patterns were and you recognize that you are a part of the type of person you attract, then clearly that needs to be a little different. So I want to help you do that, and I want to show you how simple and easy and actually fun it can be to date differently and how to rediscover yourself. So book a free discovery call and I can show you how the coaching methodologies and techniques really shift that for you quite quickly. Love you.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
And tell me something, has that worked for you? Because you're still single. So, if it hasn't worked for you, now you're telling me you had anxious attachment and chose avoidant men. How can I trust that has changed? Oh, because you went to therapy after filing for divorce, and now you're healed. But for that, I'd rather go to your therapist. At least what they offer might actually help me. What can someone who broke up her own marriage teach me? Someone who didn't look for solutions in her relationship with the father of her kids. These are the women who go searching outside for what was missing in their relationship, thinking the grass is always greener. And now, she wants to sell a course to teach other women to look for what she hasn't even found herself. Honestly, you can't make this stuff up. There's a statistic that says 50% of relationships after a divorce end badly, and it gets worse the more divorces there are. What does that tell you? It's not always the husband they left. Sometimes it's the woman who ruins a good marriage just out of boredom, claiming she's not happy. Because, remember, marriage is only meant to make the woman happy. Once that purpose is gone, it loses its meaning.
Do you want to know why it's mostly single women that give advice on this app? I heard a girl asking, like, why isn't it that the married women are the ones giving dating advice? Why is it single women? Well, every time a married woman shares a good positive story about her husband or her married life, people jump in the comments and wish the worst on her. They say that she's bragging and that you should never brag on your man, and oh my God, one day he's going to embarrass you. We're not bragging. We're actually living our happily married lives, and sometimes when we share, if we share anything personal about our situation, people take it the wrong way. So I give general dating advice here on my channel, but I would love to give more personal, more detailed advice, but I can't really do that unless I talk about my personal situation. And every time I do, on the rare occasion, people are like just wishing and waiting for the other shoe to drop in my life. So therefore I kind of scale back and I talk very generally, but I am going to share some personal stories about me and my life and how I kind of landed in this place. Why? Not because I want to brag, but because I do believe that success can be replicated, that we can learn from each other. Like, I can't be the only one who found love later in life, you know, got married at 38, had my son at 39, became a homeowner at 40. I am the president of the Late Bloomers Club, and I want to give hope to not just the late bloomers, even women in their 20s too. Maybe I can save the women in her 20s some time so that way she doesn't have to make all of the same mistakes I did. I am not a dating expert. I'm just someone who got it wrong time and time and time again. And when I finally got it right, things went smoothly for me. So maybe I can spare you guys from making a lot of the stupid mistakes that I did. Anyway, stay tuned to my channel. Those videos will be dropping soon. And don't discredit the advice that single women on this app give, because you need to learn some things from a woman who's still in the dating game. They have value too. I'll see you in my next video.
At least this one is honest. She's right. People only want to hear about destruction, not unity. For women, seeing a happy couple is synonymous with thinking that the man will eventually cheat. That's why videos of traditional wives, or women showing their happy life alongside a man, are filled with hateful comments. It's because misery loves company. And who's commenting? Women. It's always the typical wait till he cheats, wait till he hits you. Enjoy it now before he becomes abusive. It's like they've generalized the idea that all men are abusive, that every woman who does acts of service for her husband is being oppressed. But many of these women had miserable, boring lives before finding a partner. They found happiness alongside a man. I've always said that taking things to extremes is harmful. Just as there are bad women, there are bad men, but not everyone is out to hurt the other. Believe me, this woman probably got a lot of hate for this video. And when you look at the age of the women leaving comments, you mostly see women 35 and older, stuck on the wall, sharing their misery, because we all know that the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Have you ever seen a divorced woman last long in a relationship after her divorce? What do you think about the woman from the first story? Why did she put up with it for so long? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.